So you want to close deals faster. You want to get the signature from your customer in a faster time period, accelerate your turnaround times, accelerate your sales cycles, help your customers get onboarded faster, and you get paid faster. Well, let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Seeds of Success podcast. This is your host, Colin Walters, and we'll dive straight into it. We're talking all things sales today, and specifically how to get deals done faster. So I just started I've been in tech sales around 6-7 years, been working sales for about the last decade. And so I love talking about this. It's super fun to me. And so if you're in sales or if you're in business or looking to get into sales or entrepreneurship or business, and as Mark Cuban would say, sales cures all. This is going to be super important on how to actually get that signature or that purchase order, or how to actually get your customers to agree to partnership faster, right? And so these are going to be super simple. We're not going to get into the weeds of things today, but these are some very actionable things that you can start doing right now and starting today within your conversations and getting to agreements. And so just started at my new company last year, ended up as the number 3 rep for the company globally, which feels pretty good considering that went into the year with no opportunities, a 3-month ramp period. Could have very easily have ended up as the number 1 or 2 rep for the year. And so here's what worked is when you are scheduling, well, first off, always have a next step that is mutually agreed upon by you and the customer. And when I say mutual agreed upon, I'm not saying a verbal commitment. They say, yes, fine, let's meet next week. What I'm saying is there is a definitive time and day and an accepted calendar invite from whether you use Zoom or Teams if you are selling remotely, or if this is something that you do in person, right? There's still an accepted meeting of some sort, right? So we're talking like a next step that is scheduled for Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that a calendar invite has been sent and accepted for, and there is a clear agenda with expectations on exactly what you are going to be covering. And if you can't think of anything to provide for that agenda or a reason to meet, you got to come up with something. You got to create some form of value that you can deliver on that meeting and give them a reason to show up, right? So if that's, you have good news that you just heard that something just came through and you need to talk to them, then come up with something, right? But if you're looking to connect based on what the internal conversations are happening, right? After you say that you presented pricing or licensing and they are now presenting, schedule a next step meeting to help prepare them for how to have those conversations and how to sell it internally, right? Because a lot of times the more strategic that you get in these deals, you're going to have people internally selling on your behalf, right? So you're ultimately almost kind of like coaching them on how to sell the value of your solution and why it's important to them, the business, their stakeholders, and their leadership, right? Super important. All that to be said, always have a next step. Do not get off the call without having a next step. If you forget for whatever reason, call them immediately on their cell phone and schedule the next step. I'm not kidding with this. Having a next step will close more deals than you can imagine just by being face to face, consistently showing up. They know who you are and you are in front of them more than your competitors is the bottom line. And ultimately providing value, right? So if you're, bring a use case, bring a customer success story, bring an idea, bring an incentive, bring in, a new perspective or point of view that can help educate them or teach them something that they didn't know, right? The more value that you add consistently over time, the more deals you will close. And yes, this will help you get them done faster. I promise you that. The other thing, when you are scheduling the next step, do it fast in the sense of timeline. So if we're talking today, say today's Monday, right? Hey, Mr. Miss Bob, awesome. How does tomorrow look? I'm free at XYZ times. Or, How does tomorrow or Wednesday look for you? Is there any preference of day of the week and time of day for you? Right. And so the point I am making here is have fast timelines. And if they're serious, they will, or if they're not just super bogged down, because that is also an actual thing. But if they are serious, then they will say yes to those meetings. And if they are not serious, or if they are extremely busy, which is a very real thing as well, especially if you're getting into, bigger lines of decision making and leadership and stakeholders, they're also very swamped. They will push back and let them push back, right? If they say that is too, that's too soon, we need to do Thursday, Friday, or next week, that's fine. Let them resort to that, but don't give them the out right away in order to do that. Sell the meeting tomorrow, sell the meeting the following day. And then if they give you something like, I don't know, 3 weeks, say, something along the lines of like try to negotiate. Like you're always in a negotiation is another framework to think about it. Right. So instead of just saying, okay, yeah, perfect, it's totally get it. And usually in order to really stay in line with working on the agreement that we have in place, might be helpful to, if it's possible, and if not, no worries at all. But would it be possible to maybe say like sometime later end of next week? Is that totally out of the question for you? Something along those lines, so you can try to negotiate those timelines as well. So instead of 3 weeks, you just cut that time in half, right? And then I specifically say like later end of the week, so it feels less intrusive, right? And a little bit more like, oh yeah, okay, that sounds like a no-brainer. Like, let's do later end of next week. They're thinking that day is never going to come when they agree to it, right? And so the more you do that over time on all the deals you're working, say that you have, 20 opportunities in your pipeline, that's a lot of accelerated timelines that just got pushed up when you consistently make these things habits is kind of the idea, right? They compound on each other. So that is what I would say about make sure you always have a next step and then push urgency in that sense. Let them tell you that tomorrow doesn't work, right? Don't assume it for them. Um, let's see what else. So those two alone, like combining those will accelerate your deals faster than almost anything will, right? There's also some things you can do, like just making sure that they have everything that they need. Oftentimes you would be surprised at how many times customers don't have what they need, whether it's from you for a quote or an updated quote or from a reseller or a distributor or whoever you're working with. They need the quote that never got. So you are like this project manager. And so you're always working different avenues of the deal. So if you work with resellers or distributors, it is making sure that there is communication from you, letting your distributors know, hey, quote's coming from XYZ reseller. Hey, reseller, quote coming from XYZ distributor. Hey, customer, just sent this over to reseller. They are now sending it over to you. Please be on the lookout. Can you please confirm when this is in hand? Call people. Let them know you're going to sell things, right? The kind of brings me to my next point is the fastest way to get anything done is to pick up the phone and make the call, right? And so no matter who it is, whether it's your customer, whether it's a partner, whether it's a reseller, whether it's internally within your own company, you need approvals, you need things to get done, you need accounting to send something out, you need finance to answer something, you need your engineers to, the fastest way to get things done and make things happen is to pick up the phone and make the call, right? And then leave a voicemail, tell them that you'll follow up with an email, send the email, just be a consummate professional. It's kind of the idea, right? And do things that can accelerate timelines. So we've talked always have a next step. We've talked use quick accelerated turnaround times, let them push back and then negotiate those timelines, right? We talked about making sure that they have everything that they need. Do not assume that they have everything that they need because oftentimes they don't. And they are literally have 9 million things on their plate. And your deal, even though it's the most important thing to you, is about the 28th most important thing to them. And so they might just be sitting back thinking that you are sending something, or that the reseller is sending something, or they're waiting on something. So make sure they have everything that they need, right? And then they will tell you if they do or they don't. And then lastly here, before we start leaning out for this quick episode, is pick up the phone and make the call. I will, and probably should and could do an entire episode on this alone. But if there is anything that will accelerate your sales cycles and get you paid faster and onboard your customers faster and get to partnership quicker, it is picking up the phone and calling somebody. I do this depending on the situation, but sometimes I will call back to back in order to just have a chance at somebody answering. I can't tell you how many times it's worked in my career and gotten deals done and moved things forward, oftentimes with a thank you involved. Yes, a lot of this is uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to have to interrupt people's days. That is what you are in the business of doing in order to get things done. There is always a professional and pleasantly persistent way that you can go about everything. It's how you position it. It's your tone of voice. It's the way that you deliver news. It's the way that you add value. And it's always making sure that they know you are working on their behalf. Like at the end of the day, we're on the same side of the table, right? We are ultimately trying to help customers get solutions that are going to solve real business problems for them, add value to their lives, and deliver impact to the business, to their stakeholders, to the board, to their customers, etc. So all that being said, those are some things that I was thinking about as I was driving around and seeing a beautiful sunrise this morning. And I thought this could be a perfect opportunity as I was reflecting on some things that have helped me turn around sales cycles to be able to help you do the same. Also, feel free to send a text message to individuals. That'll get some things done as well. So, all right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. If you ever have any questions around sales or business or just, deals, like I love talking shop on this. I run a coaching program on the side. It's like an online coaching program. We do sales, deals, SDR, AE, all things included when it comes to business and getting deals done. So let me know. Let me know if you have questions. And then I'm just going to go ahead and leave things there. Stay tuned for more episodes to come on all things sales. And if you enjoyed this episode, let me know. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text, shoot me a call. The fastest way to get responses and get things done. And I'll leave it to you there. See you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Seeds of Success podcast. If you got to the end of this episode, can you please do me a huge favor and leave a 5-star rating and review? This helps me be able to reach out to bigger guests and also be able to get access to special events and activities that otherwise would not be possible without your support. So if you could please take just 3 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and review, it would mean the world to me, and I will see you on the next episode.